2007. What did you see in Stephen A. to give him a shot?
Okay, we go way back before that.
Okay.
First time I laid eyes on Stephen A. Smith was at the United Center, the house that Michael built, 1998. I'm at the Chicago Tribune covering the Bulls. Philly was in town. Stephen A. was covering, was it Larry Brown's team at that point? I think it was. Covering the Sixers for the Philadelphia Inquirer. And he came in the media room before the game, and he was suited and booted, coat and tie. Sports writers didn't wear coats and ties. And I was impressed because he was trying to send a message. I'm legit. I take this very seriously. I'm here to do a job, and I'm dressing appropriately. He later told me that Larry Brown was the one who suggested, well, why don't you, because I'm going to wear a coat and tie, you should wear one too. And Stephen A. didn't have coats and ties, and Larry, I think, hooked him up at a mall, at a shop in a mall where he had some discount or something so that Stephen A. could go buy enough suits to last through a road trip. So that impressed me. Then probably 2000, we're here in LA now, but there was a network pre-FS1 on that same Fox lot, not too far from here, called Fox Sports Net. And Jim Rome had an afternoon show, a TV show called The Last Word. And I don't know how this happened, but fatefully, we got paired on a show with Jim as the wingman. So Jim would sit in the middle, Stephen A. over here, I'm over here. Jim would throw up a topic and we'd start going at it. And right away, I just liked him. And we clicked and connected off camera because he started to A, respect me, and B, trust me in ways that me coming from Oklahoma City and him coming from Queens was a 1,000,000,000 shot. But we just clicked, and we had newspaper hearts, sports writer hearts, so we come from the same business, and he respected my ability to write, and I definitely respected his ability to report. And all of a sudden, Jim Rome is saying it's like watching a tennis match where his head's just on a swivel. Boom, boom, boom. And Stephen A. would let me go hard at him. And he's got a huge ego, bigger than my ego, which I love about him because that's who he is and what he is. That makes him Stephen A. Smith. I love that he called himself Stephen A. Smith. That was just a cool name to me because Steve Smith, it's not that great. We know some Steve Smiths, and it's okay, but you're not going to be quite as big unless you're Stephen A. Smith, right?
Smart branding.
It was brilliant branding, but I could go hard at him in ways that there's no way he's going to let anybody else go at him on camera, on air, because he knew in the end I still had his back. And we can go hard about a basketball topic because that was his forte. I'm football, basketball, whatever. But it's mostly basketball. And it would be explosively great to watch. And we both knew it. And it wasn't like it was contrived. It was real. It was natural. We just naturally disagreed on just about everything. So Jim got in a contract snafu and left. And they wanted us to replace Jim with the show PTI had just launched. It was maybe 3 or 4 months old, obviously on ESPN. So they wanted a PTI-esque show with edge. That's how they proposed to us, with edge. And a producer who's still a close friend of mine and Stephen A.'s named John Johnston came up with the title Sports in Black and White. Okay, This is 2002. So we're way ahead of our sort of time. And we did a pilot, and we did it sort of PTI.
Just you two?
Yeah, just the two of us going back and forth with a guest that we brought in just for the pilot, Ray Mancini, the boxer. George Greenberg ran the network, came flying out of the control room when we finished and said, I could put this on the air tonight. Okay, so we're starting to talk to John about moving to LA, and we're going to launch. This is a long time ago. This is 22 years ago. So this would have changed history. And it ran up the flagpole to the top, and I'm not going to name names, but somebody way upstairs said no to Stephen A. because he was just too edgy for them at that point. And I'm like, he's not edgy. It's just, he's a showman. people don't take it that seriously, that like they're not going to overreact to it, that they'll love it because that's what you want. You want this kind of edge. I'm edgier than he is to all the questions you ask me because Stephen A doesn't take it quite as seriously as I do, but we're a great clique. Okay, so we got left at the altar on that one. So when I got to ESPN, Cold Pizza, we started to overlap. He was doing Quite Frankly. We were both based in New York, so we would be on each other's shows. And then his plug got pulled, and then they took us up to Bristol and rebranded us First Take. We had about a 3 or 4 year run where Stephen A got pushed out the back door in Bristol. I mean, they did not renew him, and I don't know, you'd have to ask him the real backstory. But he came out here to Fox Sports Radio, and he was here for 2 years. You can ask my wife about this. He would call me every day and say, can you get me back on the worldwide leader? And I would beat on every door in that building. You can ask them all if I didn't just keep saying, what are we doing? This is ridiculous. He's gifted. He's a force. We got to get him back here. And finally, I think it took 2 years. They imposed their will on him, because he was too full of himself, I guess, and made him sort of crawl back, if you will. And they let him ease back in on New York radio and writing for New York ESPN.com. I was just ashamed of it. But I kept fighting because then I was going solo on First Take with a rotation of guest debaters. We had all kinds of people coming in, Jamel Hill, Michael Smith, and Two Live Stews, and Chris Broussard was in the mix, and we had all kinds of different people coming in. And we had a run in the Tebow season, which was 2011, where we were just rating through the roof. But at the end of that season, I told Jamie Horowitz, who was our showrunner, they would let us have Stephen A once a week for one segment at the top of the second hour, and that was it, because he was still being punished or whatever. And I said, just get me him. The rotation's fine, and our ratings are great, but I need him daily where I can wake up thinking, I got him. Because that's where you don't lose any sleep, because I got a new opponent, so to speak, the next day. I wonder how he's going to be. I wonder what this is going to be. We got a whole new dynamic tomorrow. I wonder how that's going to work. I wanted to be able to sleep peacefully because I had my man back. So to your question, that's how we fought through that and finally got him back full time, and the rest is history.
What year did you guys reconnect and finally back full time?
2011. He became, at the very end, it was like I went to the Super Bowl. It was the Brady, it was in Indianapolis, the Brady Giants' second Super Bowl. So it was right in that week. That was the first time he came back on full time. And we relaunched.
This episode is sponsored by Via. This holiday season, unwind and recharge with Via. Whether you're enjoying a quiet evening at home or embracing a festive cheer, Via Premium THC and THC-free gummies will help you find your perfect holiday balance. Via has a wide selection to choose from. They got gummies, vapes, flowers, and more. Their product have a wide range of THC levels as well. So if you're like me and looking for something potent, Via has you covered. Or you need something lighter, Via has you covered there as well. I've really been enjoying the Dream Sleep gummies. I'm always on super long flights, and when I pop the gummies, I sleep through anybody trying to talk my ear off. Via is crafted with the highest quality of hemp and is sourced from trusted American farms. And the best part, Via is legally shipped to nearly all states in the US with discreet packaging. The package goes directly to your door with a worry-free guarantee. No medical card required. So if you're 21 and older, check out our link to Via website. You can find the link in our description and use the code SMOKE for a 15% discount.